Hey everybody, it's Professor Reed. So welcome to fall 2020 online here at Penn State Abington. Um, got a few emails from people just asking various questions. So I've taken the syllabus and put it into PowerPoint presentation. Yeah, so I want to introduce myself and just sort of go over the syllabus. I try to get the syllabus down to a pretty manageable size. Um, and then what we'll do is, as we get throughout the semester, we'll refer to the syllabus. So, think of the syllabus as being your platform for understanding the class and also for the way that the grades occur. This will be my first class that's been all online. Obviously, in spring 2020, we went to online sort of mid semester, and I've taught a class that was hybrid before, which was a summer class. It was a mix of the two. So I think the thing to stress is this is I've had a fair amount of training on Canvas. I feel pretty good about it. There's going to be some glitches that we're going to all try to work on. But if you can do the work and stay engaged with the class, that's going to be key. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next slide. Uh, wow, that's a pretty bad picture. Okay, so I got a picture in here of me. Just a little bit about me. Um, my name's Steve Reed. I got an MFA up at Brown University. Went to school down in Virginia at a place called Old Dominion. Started off at a community college down there, Thomas Nelson Community College. And yeah, so you'll hear me say some ain'ts and some y'alls, being from Hampton. And I've been in Penn State for about 6 years at Abington. And in this semester, I have all online classes, so I'm gonna miss the Abington experience. I actually think it's like a really good place to teach. A great director there. Yeah, I really enjoy it. So I've taught multiple classes. So in the future, I've had a few students, that they take, 015 and I teach 202, which has, for humanities or for business, it has different classes. So I get a few students to take both of them. I've also taught some business writing classes before. Um, our O5 class will focus on conspiracy theories, so that's something that like I've done that theme for a couple years. I was at Rowan University over in Glassboro and taught a class on eco. It was all based on global warming, and an essay came out of there where we looked at the idea of global warming and climate change being a conspiracy, and then I developed it into theme for the class. And what I find is that students really enjoy the subject matter of the class, and we write, as you'll see, 3 essays, and we do a portfolio where you take the essays and you make some changes to them. So we write 3 essays in the class, and then we do other assignments associated with it, which we'll talk a little bit about it, especially as the semester moves along. But it's a good theme. It's a really good platform to look at all sorts of issues. I mean, if you look at conspiracy theories, I've taught the class theme for maybe 8 years now. I used to have a lot of papers on 9/11, and now that's changed over time. And what's cool about it is there's sort of a conspiracy theory for everything that's out there. So yeah, that's the theme of it. So if you like that sort of thing, whatever that means, if you enjoy, sort of looking into conspiracies and trying to, dive into that, that'll be the theme of the essays that we write. Okay. And here's just a little view, just to give you, I guess, sort of like show a graphic on conspiracy theories. I mean, what we'll do is, and we'll go into this throughout the semester, uh, we'll have an essay that's about sort of a playoff of a this I believe essay that's about a conspiracy theory that you either believe or don't believe in. We'll do a cause and effect conspiracy paper, and then we'll write a paper where we look specifically at WikiLeaks, Edward Snowden, which was a little bit in the news in fall 2019. And you can see here's just a little list of like the percentage of people with the beliefs in conspiracies. So what we're going to try to do is, write essays that engage, like the core initiatives for an O15 class. And the theme of the class is conspiracies. And what's cool about this, looking at conspiracies, I mean, with COVID, there's been ton of conspiracies come out about it. Um, what's not interesting about it is there's conspiracies on sort of both sides of the political spectrum. It's pretty interesting. And then this sort of gets into the idea of like, who controls what type of media. There's who is, like politically this sort of divides down. And you can see that the conspiracy sort of wax and wane over time. So 9/11, when I first started, was a really popular one for people to do, and now it's one that like has sort of dissipated over time a little bit in the public eye, right? And JFK assassination obviously is a one that's sort of the some people argue that sort of the beginning, the platform for the sort of this conspiracy type of idea. So this, like looking at conspiracies, we look at all sorts of things about it, and it's a chance to really write about something that's actually pretty enjoyable. We do have a presentation where you look at cause and effect, and you have to like sort of explain that. But I think though, like I've done this for a couple years, I feel like this is a really enjoyable thing. I really enjoy it as well. Okay, so that's the theme of it. And we'll go. We'll obviously talk a little bit more about that. Okay, now here's the syllabus, and what I did was I put this also up on Canvas as well. So I'm just trying to go through this in a PowerPoint presentation. A couple things to note. You can see SPR 12. It's right up here. That is my Penn State address, email address. The S Patrick Reed at Yahoo. So the way I have it worked is I teach at a few different schools. So I have the Penn State email address routed to Yahoo. And so if you email me at the Penn State, and I think a few students already have, you get it back from S. Patrick Reed at Yahoo. Just know that's me writing you back. I try to streamline the different schools that I'm at. And one of the things you want to know that the class is online only, so it's asynchronistic. So basically, I'm at another school, and I have to meet, classes at 11 o'clock Monday, Wednesday, and I have to meet with them on Zoom at Monday and Wednesday at 11 o'clock. Okay. So this class is going to be asynchronistic. So basically, we do not meet at a specific time. We're going to try to do everything through YouTube, through, recording PowerPoints, that sort of thing. Really getting creative with this, but we do not meet at a specific time together. Okay, so that's something you want to note. I think I had a few students write about that. Maybe it's a little bit confusing, but this is online only, and we don't meet at a specific time. That being said, there will be assignments and due dates. Like for example, like we'll have discussion boards. So with discussion boards, I'm going to try to post everything in the discussion board by Sunday night, and then you'll have a certain amount of time to get them done. So there's still due dates for things, but we don't have that Zoom meeting, and there's no textbook required for the class. I feel like I've got everything on PowerPoints, and I've got everything online videos. So I feel like I've got that pretty much under control. So the little bit of money you could. I know back when I was in college, back in the '90s, MC Hammer was big, Nirvana, that sort of thing, right? But like books cost a lot back then, so if you save a few dollars on that, use it responsibly, like that sort of thing. Okay, and yeah, I'll post a lot online. You just like we're gonna stress this as we get through this, but just really keep up with the work. If you keep up with the work and you communicate, you're gonna do good. If the biggest way students either fail the class or get a lower grade than they wanted is because they don't keep up with the work. And the thing is, like in an English class, um, this is more for like live meetings, but students feel, oh, I can miss this class and catch up on it. And if you've ever tried to write, 5 papers in 2 days, it's pretty grueling. So, keep up with the work. I will say this. Students have a tendency to write some of the better papers late at night. I don't know what that is. I saw a statistic that said, Canvas was the hours of 2 a.m. were some of the most, not necessarily at Penn State, right? We, not necessarily there, but like in general, Canvas, the usage hours is sort of off the charts at 2 o'clock in the morning. And, after classes are done, I see students out unfortunately this won't happen this semester, but you'll see them out. They go, "Hey, Professor Reed," I'll go, "Oh, it's a great paper you wrote on this," and then they'll go, "Oh, I wrote that at 2 a.m." So we'll talk about that. I mean, um, another thing is there's a pecking order. I don't know that many people we're gonna have many English majors in the class. Not to say we won't, but sometimes you'll get a student that is in their major is biology or chemistry, and they get to labs or something like that, and there's a pecking order that sort of occurs. I mean, that's some of the things that you want to manage just in terms of the class as a whole, and because it is online. One of the challenges you see with a lot of articles about online teaching is sort of keeping that sense of community. So, communicate as much as you can. If you hit a technology issue, or if I do, I'll try to communicate with you as well. It's been amazing amount of emails that I've got from my various schools about, almost like too many emails to sort of sort through. But Penn State has been very, very proactive in setting up, from a professor standpoint, from an instructional, pedagogical standpoint, multiple contacts for Zoom or Canvas. So we're gonna hit some speed bumps. What you don't want to do is like not post discussion boards, not check in, and then sort of come out of nowhere with it. In a live class, I would say that would be sort of ghosting the class. I don't know if that's still a term people use, but they like students will sort of come in and then they'll come back in, and um, that's just something you want to do. Like you want to keep up with the work, and don't sort of get into a false sense of security because this is online. Okay, now let's start talking about the course goals. Rhetorical knowledge. We're going to look at and talk about different types of media, audience context, genre. We'll talk about ethos, pathos, and logos. We'll talk about rhetorical situations. How you would write a paper based upon, is it a research paper? Is it more casual type of writing? And we'll also talk about the different types of text that you're going to read as well, right? Now, what's pretty cool about this class is, there is a personal side to writing that comes in. The theme being conspiracy theories. We're gonna look at, I had a really amazing uh, paper on, police brutality. If that was something that was, like, are the police, is there a conspiracy about the police sort of targeting certain groups demographically? And amazing job with the paper. And I had a student once that wrote about, like, well, here's a paper on this other conspiracy that was more about, like, well, the police are almost getting targeted, and that's sort of the conspiracy. So, like, if you research this and you put together the organizational skills, and you wrap it all up and try your best to, like develop the paper, then you're gonna, my opinion about the conspiracy is gonna stay out of it. So, like, one of the things I think though about conspiracy, what I like about it gets into discussions about, gender, sexual orientation, cultural back, all these type of points of discussion that we want to have in a 15 class. They come up. So, like, the cool thing about the conspiracies are there's not for lack of better terms, there's left wing conspiracies, right wing conspiracies. They're fascinating, and it's an opportunity to really drill down to those and to have some discussions about, rhetorical situations, who the audience is, and then also critical thinking skills. Like, we are going to be analyzing texts that are going to be, by some people, they'll say controversial. I had a paper last year on CIA conspiracies, and people were like, "Whoa, like that seems controversial." Like, so, like, or something like global warming. Is that a conspiracy or not? Some people are going to say, obviously, it's not, and other people are going to, have this points of discussion, and we're going to, in a presentation, we're going to see that some people believe something, other people don't. So, critical thinking skills are going to be put in place. We do not want to be aggressive or offensive to anybody. in the class. We want to be respectful, in terms of presentation. And for critical thinking skills, we will look at logical fallacies and try to blend that into one of the papers as well. We try to develop counter arguments and all those sort of things. So I think like it's a pretty good mix of um, writing about some subject matter we enjoy, and then doing a fair amount of research on it, being critical, being aware of each other, and trying to understand what drives some of these types of ideas. Some people have said that conspiracy theories are sort of like our mythology that we have that's in place. So there's all sorts of like ideas on it. And what's pretty interesting about it is I have a librarian named Katie, and she'll do. I'll try to coordinate with her to get a presentation for the library. There's a fair amount of academic writing on conspiracies as well. So, I think it's a growing type of field in the academic world as well. Okay, so that idea of support for your writing, where you're going to get your source material from, is it's pretty complicated. But I really think like looking at conspiracies as a whole is can develop these course ideas pretty thoroughly. Okay, and then yeah, multiple genres and different types of styles. We'll talk about this idea of discourse community a little bit as well, but this discourse community idea came out of a writer named John Swales, who was a British writer, and he had this idea of these sort of discourse communities and the way that they sculpt, things like academic writing or different types of genres. So we'll talk about that, and try to think about, primary sources versus secondary sources. The goal of this is, as a whole, is to make you a better writer across the board. Um, if certain people like psychology majors have a pretty intensive um, future in writing, and other majors, computer science, for example, may not have that much of a writing intensive future with their major. But the goal here is, even like cover letters, resumes, those sorts of things. We're going to try to talk about you know good writing practice. Now, our first lecture, which I don't want to get to, like our first series of lectures, it's going to be in the history of English. There's a lot of discussions about what counts as proper English. We'll look at a few articles on that as well. That's an interesting discussion as well. Me being from the South, like I said, the way I spoke down there probably would be something that most people would recommend for me to go and put into a resume. But there's this idea of sort of code switching, so we'll talk about that. But like the goal here is to make you as comfortable with finding sources. We're going to analyze the source material. We're going to look at some conspiracy theories. You're going to try to find one you really enjoy. You're going to put it together, and then like these two essays that we could do in the beginning, they are not necessarily going hand in hand, but you could do that. And we'll talk about some time management and that sort of thing, especially with the online environment. Okay, now sort of look at this as well, the course requirements. Make sure you keep up with the works. Make sure you keep your rough drafts coming on time. um, you know, we've got to keep up with some deadlines. We're going to do peer review for your essays, which we'll try to manage on Canvas, which is going to be a little bit sort of interesting to do. But you don't want to fall behind with a paper and not get it peer reviewed. You lose points for that. Okay. Now there is the Writing Center, which is in room 312 there in Sutherland, and then that's an option for you as well. I always give extra credit. I try to give 5 extra credit points if you take your essay by. Now you can go by with out of the 4 different little essays that we do, the portfolio, you can take that by. You can get 5 extra points, for that across the board for each one of the essays. So, utilize that. I'm 99% sure that they have online options for that. If you're taking an 005 class where it's sort of the uh, supplemental help for the writing process, you don't get extra credit for going for that. Okay, so like If you go to the writing center, you get the extra credit for that. But if you go to O5, you get a grade for that class anyway. And I highly recommend the class. I actually teach a few sections of that as well. But that gives you another set of eyes on your papers that you write. Okay, so um, yeah, reach out, get some help with that. Try to get the papers in on time. We will have a submission due date, which a submission box on Canvas. I find that a lot of students are pretty familiar with Canvas as well, which is good. My kids are doing online school; they have Canvas as well, so hopefully you got a pretty good feel for that. I'll try to put everything into the modules, and I'll show you that in a second as well. Okay. All right, good. Now here you go. So here's a little bit of the grade breakdown. Um, we got essay one, essay two, essay three, and then we have a portfolio. So, and then we have online assignments, discussion boards primarily. So we'll try to do um, 4 quizzes and then 5 points each, basically. Then we'll have some discussion boards. We'll try to do maybe 10 of those discussion boards, and basically I'll break down the grades, and they'll be in Canvas. So you should be able to access Canvas and see your grades automatically through Canvas. Okay. Um, like I said, uh, the due dates are key. Um, and so, for example, if you look at like that second essay, it's a cause and effect essay. There is a presentation built in that 20 points as well. So what I'll do is when we get to the essays, I'll actually show you the point breakdown. And this is something that Canvas actually makes pretty easy to streamline. So in the past, I used to keep an old school grade book and carry that around. It's a little embarrassing, right? But now you can see all the grades there on up on Canvas as well. And I got to change one thing about that. So I'm gonna make a change. The grade I changed it at the last minute. We're gonna take the online assignments discussions down just a little bit because right now, yeah, there's a 10-point extra. So what I'm gonna do is you'll see this I haven't posted on the syllabus yet, but that online assignments discussion boards, I'm gonna take that down to 10 points there. Okay, so it's like basically we'll have 10 discussions, and if you decide not to do that, then that's going to be something that will, take away from your grade as well. Um, so I'll fix that. So basically, we'll have 10 discussion boards. Like we'll have one this week, and they'll be basically worth 1 point each for each one. Now, if the thing about it is we don't have, participation, we don't have an attendance policy in place because of but you want to keep up with the assignments. If I see that you're not weighing in on the assignments, I'll try to reach out to you. But that's going to be something you want to keep up with. So, try to do that. Try to keep up with the assignments there, online discussion, because what happens a lot of times in a live class is students will just stop. They'll stop, sort of showing up to class, and then that basically um, will show that they're not going to come in. Then I can reach out to them. So online is a little bit different. I can actually see who logs in and who doesn't log in and sort of keep up with that. But yeah, the discussion boards are going to be something that we try to keep up with on a daily basis. Okay, and I'll put PowerPoints up that'll have overviews. I have a YouTube channel which I think will also allow me to put them up as well. So I have a YouTube channel. I'm going to load this onto the YouTube channel. So you'll see what I'm going to try to do is have multiple ways of viewing the material. Okay. All right, good. We talked about that attendance policy. Okay. Let's talk about academic integrity. A lot of times the plagiarism, we're going to have a discussion about plagiarism. You're probably pretty familiar with it. It's a something that is can be the sort of the bane of a online class, or I should say just a writing class in general. There's software called Turnitin, which we can run to see if there is issues with plagiarism, but basically that's using work and not giving credit to where it comes from. So I think if you ask me, a lot of times the plagiarism happens in a real accidental level where students will um, take some source material and they won't tell where it's from, or they this is a classic. There's a 5-page paper that's due, and they end up not um really managing their time well, and they bake in parts of Wikipedia into their paper, for example, and then they go, "Oh, I'll fix it later," and then they get a ding for plagiarism. So we're going to talk about ways of avoiding plagiarism. Obviously, if somebody else writes a paper for you, that's a form of plagiarism. I'd call that cheating as well. But it's if you get caught in air quotes here, if you get caught with plagiarism, we'll try to address it and see if it's a situation that we can fix. If it's maybe something that is you're a little bit ignorant about, or maybe something we can rectify there. But you know, even if you paraphrase something and you put in your own words, you have to tell where the sources came from. Okay, so you got the learning center, and that's something like if you take the '05 class and you go to the learning center, they can sort of help you with that ways of managing it. We'll have a whole lecture on it. Um, you know, academic integrity is a big thing. We'll have some quizzes on Canvas. We'll do our best to sort of manage those as well. And one of the things to also mention is the library. The library has multiple options with trying to give you support. I'm in a few different schools. We have a really amazing library here. We have a librarian who's going to be working directly with us. She's done multiple lectures for me on the libraries, so that's something we want to utilize. And I think she really enjoys actually the conspiracy side of it. And then disabilities accommodations. Now, if you have a letter um, for accommodations, you want to make sure I get that as soon as possible, and all your professors get that as soon as possible. It's something you can just, I guess, email to me. Now that we don't meet live, yeah, I think you can email that to me, and try to get that me as soon as possible because, if it's something like you need a little bit more time with getting the papers in, get that to me as soon as possible. I've had scenarios where students got me the letter halfway through the semester and have fallen behind. If that's the case, you don't want to do that. You want to try to get the accommodation letter in there as soon as possible so that we can make the adjustments for that. Okay, then that's going to be key to your success. Key. Okay, so really, uh, getting those accommodation letters in is going to be key. And we talked about academic integrity. Um, Plagiarism is going to be the big one that's going to occur. Unfortunately, if I taught a live class, cheating can be something we'd have to watch out for. But it's a little bit different in terms of the online class. We have 4 quizzes. Usually they're open book, so they're not to be punitive. We do one on history of English. We do one on plagiarism, and we do others that are about more writing, organizational type of things. And then there is no final exam at the end of the semester. You'll turn on your portfolio. Uh, Office hours, and this is sort of tricky. Office hours are going to be something that we could do with Zoom. Um, I have time on Tuesday and Thursday. I actually want to make a little poll and put that on Canvas as we get into the second week. I try not to do uh, anything too intensive with a paper the first week of class. You want to think of the first week of class as just getting to know the class, getting to see if it's a good fit for you, that sort of thing. I mean, but office hours, especially toward the end of the semester, that's something we can do on the phone, or we can do online, or we can do Zoom, or that sort of thing as well. Okay, so we'll work on that. But I try to be here as much as I can. If a student is working on the paper and they're really trying to get it done, um, you're gonna get there. You're gonna also have a chance. I'm gonna read over the papers for you, try to give you some feedback as well on Canvas. So I would say if you look at some of my reviews on Rate My Professor or whatever, like they're gonna say, all right, he really gives you a chance with this. Okay. Statement on harassment, assault, rape, domestic violence, discrimination, and hate crimes. Like this is something that uh, in the class, in a live class or on an online class, if something's said, you feel like it's discriminatory, or if you get into a situation on the campus or where have you, where you need to reach out to um, student affairs, there's the numbers for it. There's a context for it as well. Abington has a full range of counseling services. Just one of the things just to stress, freshman year can have all sorts of challenges along with it. COVID has definitely created some challenges as well. Whatever it is, try to reach out to the services if you can get some documentation of that. Like I've had some pretty amazing situations that have occurred, and students have taken advantage of this, and I think it's across the board going to be something that you want to manage. And also, because we're not live or online, you know it's something that you want to make sure you manage your own psychology with it. We don't want to have any, even though we're looking at conspiracies, we don't want to have any hate speech or any type of discrimination based on national origin or race. There's Title IX options as well. Please keep these numbers on board if you want to, if you need to reach out to somebody else, or you can write me and I can point you in a direction for that as well. And there's also the academic links that are over here on the side, right? So please, one of the things you want to keep up with is the drop ad dates and that sort of thing. I mean that as a professor, I teach at different schools. It's sort of hard for me to manage all that, and especially now that we're going online and going full online this semester, we really, really want to you want to keep up with that. Okay, just keep up with the due dates, that sort of thing, um, and also the ad drop dates. And there's a link to that in the syllabus. Okay, so the one thing I'm going to change about the syllabus, just to keep in mind, is the discussion boards. I had it at 20%. We're going to take that down to 10%. Okay, we'll basically have 10 discussion board questions. So all those points will be allocated to the final grade. If you keep up with the work, and you communicate, and I think the class is pretty fun. I get some pretty good reviews. I think that I've done this a couple years. Definitely had some failures in the beginning, but I think if you keep up with it, manage your time well, and not really rely on this so much being an online only class. I think you should do really well with it. Okay, and um, I'm actually pretty excited about learning the technology as we go along as well. I know Canvas is a really robust system, but I feel like every day I get a training or I realize something that it does even better. So, we'll try to manage this the best we can. Now, let me show you something as well. All right, it's a little bit smaller there, but um, that's just an example of like the module. So, what I'll do is I'm going to put the syllabus up, and then I'm going to put a discussion question up. Email if you have any questions about this, and then it'll just be a little introduction for yourself, and then keep up with the PowerPoints. Communication is key, but you can see right here, like in the weekly modules, what I'll do is I'll put like I'll put the PowerPoint up. I'll put whatever assignments we have due in the weekly modules. And typically, what we do with this is that they'll go up, and I'll put this on campus. They'll go up on Sunday night, and then if you have a discussion board, typically we try to get those discussion boards answered by like a Friday night. Okay, so that'll give us some things to talk about as well. And then I'll put the PowerPoints up, and if we have a quiz or if we have a due date for a paper, then I'll post that as well. So like say the paper was due October 1st, then I'll put the assignments up and I'll put the due dates on there as well. Okay, so you want to keep up with those due dates because you lose, like you do lose a few points if they're late. Okay, and that's the biggest way students sort of fall behind. Okay, so that's going to be it for the overview. This is going to count, as like the first lecture, and then what we'll do is we'll have a discussion board, and I'll post a few PowerPoints. I'm going to try to really mix this up in terms of the multimedia. We want to try to have this, we're not live, so we're trying to have a real robust experience, trying to build a sense of community with it. And yeah, and the theme of conspiracies, I think, is is super interesting, timely, and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's basically it. Okay. Talk to you guys soon.